Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Mayor's Table. Spring is in full bloom. Now's the time to be outside playing golf. And with me today will be City of Farmington's golf course manager, Chris Jones. We're going to be talking about current conditions, renovations, things to come, and why it's great to play golf here in the City of Farmington. Hi, everyone. Farmington Mayor Nate Duckett here. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Mayor's Table. With me today is our special guest, Chris Jones, who's the golf course manager for the City of Farmington. Chris, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mayor. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. I thought it'd be a good time to kind of bring you in and talk a little bit about Pinon Hills Golf Course, a little bit about Civitan, because we know there's a lot going on out there. And of course, there's been some talk about and concerns about conditions of the course. So I think bringing the expert, the guy who's in charge of it, to the forefront to kind of discuss what's happening and where we're going, because there's some exciting news. I thought it'd be a really good idea.
Yeah, sounds great to me.
Yeah. Chris, you've been over the golf courses now for 14 years?
Correct.
So that's Pinon Hills and Civitan, and obviously a lot of things have changed in the world of golf during that time. Most notably for me, Tiger Woods is not the world number one anymore,
Right.
which was really the reason I started playing golf.
Yeah. Yep. I hear that. Yeah.
But during that time, Pinon Hills has continued to receive great positive accolades, national notice for being one of the top municipal golf courses in the country. Just as early as late last year when they moved the PGA Tour Championship,
Right.
we had a writer from one of the magazines say, hey, Pinon Hills would be in my top 5 places to move.
Right.
That's a big compliment.
Sure. Yeah.
So, I mean, and just how has things transitioned for you as we look at where we're at now with Pinon Hills Golf Course? And part of the reason why we wanted to talk about this today is we've kind of hit a roadblock, so to speak, but something that we're working through, and we just wanted to provide education to the public as to what we're doing out there.
Correct. Yeah, we have a lot of exciting projects coming down the pike right now. Most notably, first of all, the irrigation design was awarded and cart path rerouting, and we're looking to get that out for construction bid later this summer. So starting there, and then with some other projects around the facility like the entryway and the awning, and we've upgraded the driving range in a couple ways as well. So we're trying to do a lot as we can here, and make people understand that we're here for them, and we're trying to make it better.
The comment I get many times in regards to if people are looking at what Farmington is, Pinon Hills Golf Course is one of those components. It's either you're fishing the San Juan or you're golfing
Right.
at Pinon Hills. That's what puts Farmington on the map. And so we're at a point now with the infrastructure at that course. I mean, it was built in 1988, right? We've not replaced the golf cart pass, and we've not replaced the irrigation completely since 1988. I was 11 years old in 88. Right. So that's a long period of time. And
Sure.
as government goes, as a municipal golf course, I mean, we try and run things all the way to the very end of its life.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in some situations, I think here, when an irrigation system just completely goes out, I mean, we're dealing now with dozens of breaks in that
Correct.
line, and your staff is spending an inordinate amount of time just focusing on water breaks.
Right. Yeah, any given time, we will have 10 to 15 active leaks on the golf course. And so we rank them on priority, and we have one guy completely dedicated who is our irrigation tech that in a perfect world, he would be doing preventative maintenance. But honestly, on a daily basis, while our irrigation system is running during the 6 or 7 months that it runs every night just about, he has to be fixing leaks almost 35, 40 hours a week. So it's really tough. There's places on the golf course that it's hard to get water to right
Yes.
now. There's so much sandstone in the ground as well that as the pipe gets older, it gets more brittle, and then it rubs on sandstone, and then you get your leaks. So,
Oh, interesting. I didn't think about that fact, too.
yeah.
Because it's not buried in nice, soft soil. It's
No.
actually pressed
In some
up
places,
against.
yes.
Yeah, but it is a lot of sandstone. My house sits on a sandstone cliff, I think.
Right.
So, and my yard's hard to keep green because, the soil is bad and it's right on top of that sandstone,
Right.
and so that has its own challenges.
Right.
I think the biggest challenge, of course, is just it's been 40 years, 30 years, whatever it is,
Yeah.
since we've done this full enhancement. Now we've done some little projects. We redo some of the pump system here a few years ago that needed to be done.
Yep. We replaced the pump station in 2014, I believe.
Okay. But when it comes to, holes like 10, 11, and 12, off top of my mind when we went out there, noticeably that's the furthest part from the water, our water source.
Yep.
And so that's been the most difficult area to get water to.
For sure. It's the furthest point from the pump station to number 10 green. The piping is smaller than it probably should be, and it's uphill. And so it's just hard to get water there. So there are some places on those 3 holes that have struggled to come back. Hopefully when we get some warmer weather, we're going to see those really pop back out. It's already looking better.
Yeah.
But we just need some warm nights, some warm days, some good growing weather, and we'll get back there.
You made a good point when we were talking off air before this, that last year, the COVID year, that golf course was shut down from March to May. There was a period of time where nobody was on the course. Nothing was going, there was no golf carts. There was no golfers making divots. It was there. It was getting watered, and that was it. And so the period of time where we go from winter to kind of summer, we just kind of jumped over that. Golfers weren't there, and then they were there, and it was already green.
Right. We definitely did last year. And while it was unfortunate to be closed, it was almost a blessing for the golf course because it's been forever since there's been a time where it could grow without any traffic on it. So,
sure.
Yeah, going from March 23rd to May 15th last year, we had no golfers. We all became part of the grounds crew, and we were able to get some things done that normally you can't get done with golfers out there every day. So the golf course definitely a year ago came out of spring looking different than it does right now. And since COVID, since we reopened from the COVID pandemic originally, we've been busier than we've been in a long time. Golf has been one of those things that opened up early.
Sure.
And so we have been busy. When we've been open, we've seen numbers that we haven't seen in several years. So more traffic, more irrigation problems have led to things not being as perfect as we want them yet.
Right. Well, and it's a high standard that we have to live up to, especially when we keep getting ranked in those national rankings for municipal courses. And I think for me as an elected official, it's kind of eye-opening. I certainly don't want to be the mayor who is in charge if Pinon Hills were to somehow fail, which has been some comments that have been made that the course, if we don't save it now, it's going to be too late next year. Just give us your opinion on that comment.
Yeah, we're not going to lose the golf course by any means. First off, a lot of golfers go to a golf course because the greens are the number one factor. They have good greens, let's go play there. People like to putt on fast greens. And our greens right now are better than they've ever been. Last fall, after a good growing season, our fairways looked as good as they've looked in a long time. There are some areas on our tee boxes that are suffering. And one of the things with the new irrigation system is you can control every head individually. Right now, our system, and not to get too technical, is called a block system. You can't turn on one head a lot of places. You turn on a block of sprinklers, and so you overwater some areas, underwater some areas. So it's a really difficult balance for our superintendent. But once we get the system that is more efficient, we're going to save water. We're going to be able to water some of the hills that burn up in the summer. You can water one hill instead of watering all of them at one time. So I think people will see as we get going later this summer and we get some good growing weather, and then when we get the new irrigation system in, it'll take some time, but I think that they will see we'll get back to that standard that we want it to be at.
Sure.
Not only do as much as they want us to be in that shape, we want it even more.
Right. Well, let's kind of talk about things that are happening now. So council has awarded the contract to upgrade all the equipment. So all of our lawn mowers and different things that we have out there, that has been paid for. We're getting that new equipment's in, correct?
Yeah, we got that in November, and we replaced not everything, but a good chunk of the most important pieces that we needed.
Great.
Yeah.
Here, a few weeks ago, council awarded the contract for the planning and design for the irrigation and the cart paths. So that process is being worked on now. And I think you said July 26th would be the latest when we would get those construction documents. So we got to get the planning and design in so we can then put it out for a construction bid. Right. So, a best case scenario, we're still looking, it probably wouldn't be until next year that we'd start seeing some construction out there. And that, or could it be as early as this year? It
could be, I think, as early as November or December if everything moves at the pace that we would hope for, but certainly we'll do the best we can to get it pushed as quickly as the council can do, and our purchasing department and everybody else.
So we're committed to funding that, as you well know, and the public needs to know that. We're committed to funding that. That's going to be a multi-million-dollar project, but it's necessary. Yep. That's a piece of an asset here in the community that simply we can't let go. We're also currently out there with the streets crew, and they're going to be doing some patchwork and repair on the golf cart paths, which I think will be a very positive thing as well. So over the next few Mondays, we'll see those groups out there. And then we don't really know for sure yet what the timeline is going to look like when we get those planning and design documents, because people have asked, well, are you going to shut down half the course to work on the other half, or how does that all work? Well, you know what? As you're looking at this from an irrigation and a cart path scenario, I mean, it's going to be it'll be a challenge. There may be a period of time where it has to be shut down for everyone, or maybe not. What do you think?
I think from what we've learned, there's different ways to do it. One problem we have is that, or not a problem, but the way we're laid out, the holes aren't separated from front nine on this side and back nine on this side, and so you couldn't necessarily shut down this side to do that side. But there are ways to do it. I'm told that you can reroute things, and they can work on a few holes over here, maybe like 10, 11, and 12 on one day, and then, or not one day, but one period of time, and then go back and do a different period, do a different section. But I think ideally, giving them the entire golf course to just go in there and get as much done as they can while shut down would be the way to do it. But, we'll certainly see what works best for all of us. Yeah.
Another huge part of this, I believe, is we're going to replace the sand in our bunkers.
We're going to definitely try to fit that in this project for sure. It would involve getting the sand out and replacing the liners that are original and then new sand. Yeah.
It's funny, having been now an elected official since 2014, the playability of dirt and sand, you just don't think about the fact that it has a lifespan.
Sure.
Ball fields are a great example. I mean, there's a point where that dirt out there is no longer going to do anything except be hard when it gets watered, and so it requires replacement and repair to make a more playable surface. Same thing with sand in bunkers. I mean, you just don't think about the fact that component's there.
Right, and you think about it, the way the irrigation system works is that sand gets watered because you want the grass around the bunkers to be nice as well.
Sure.
So that sand gets watered, and then it bakes all day. And it over time it just gets very hard. So, and we have some bunkers that bleed into the desert, so we'll have to make some decisions on how to do those. But it's definitely something that needs to be done.
Golf carts are another part of the the experience of playing a golf course. We'll have a new lease this fall.
Right.
We've obviously had a lot of these carts have reached their end of life, their battery life.
Right.
So we're going to be going into that as well. And then just generally speaking, I know we've toured it together. There's some areas out there around the clubhouse that we want to improve on. It is interesting when you think about the way it was designed, that the clubhouse doesn't face forward.
Right.
You're kind of seeing the back part of the clubhouse.
Yeah.
So we're trying to find ways to beautify those areas. But, look, I think the point is this. We're committed to this golf course. This is a part of our community, a part of the fabric of Farmington. We recognize it as a huge asset, whether it's just for people who already live here now, but also in our endeavor to become a retirement community. Retirees love that. And by the way, we have the best deal out there for an annual pass on certainly any major golf course in the United States, in my opinion.
Right.
It's very affordable, and many of those folks who have those seasonal passes, they golf there every day.
Yeah. The average, I think the last time I did the numbers, the average pass holder plays between 45 and 50 times a year, the average. So we have some on the far end of that spectrum that play 300 times a year.
Sure.
And some that don't play as much.
Right. Looking at Civitan, because Civitan's an interesting component. You've noted to us that it is the numbers for Civitan.
Yeah.
The rounds are up, revenue's up. What is it about that golf course that's so special?
I think because, number one, you go out and you walk, and if you have your kids or whatever, you get to walk and you spend an hour and a half over there. And it's not difficult, so to speak, so it's a better place for people to learn.
Sure.
The holes are all shorter. It's just par 3. You don't have to commit a whole day to doing it. You can go over and be done in an hour and a half. And then over the past few years, we've added foot golf or soccer golf, which has been fun. And then we've also started working more with the San Juan Disc Golf Club, who have their baskets over there, and they even have some night tournaments and stuff. So it's really, it's not just turned into, hey, this is a little 9-hole golf course. There's a lot more going on over there. So people really enjoy it.
That's a multi-sport facility now.
It is.
And which is great that we're adapting to those new uses.
Right.
I keep wanting to go over there and do the soccer golf.
Right.
But that's a great point. So, and the horseshoe pits are still there.
They are.
We're looking at the possibility of doing putt-putt
Yep.
at some point in that facility, which I think would be a great
I think it'd be great.
a great asset to this community. So one of the challenges, though, Chris, and this goes across the entire organization, certainly across all the industries right now in the United States, is we need people to get on board in our workforce.
Yeah.
We're hiring.
Yeah.
At this point last year, I think you said you had 8 to 10 normally for maintenance help. Right now we're at 3 seasonal employees for that.
Yeah.
So, we're less than half of what our normal staff is for those positions. For the full-time maintenance employees, we're normally at 5, and right now we have 3 hired.
We're at 4.
We're at 4. Okay.
Yeah. And we do have the clearance or whatever you want to say that we're going to replace that position. It's our assistant superintendent position has not been replaced yet. We had 4 of our 5 full-time maintenance guys retire last year who've been with us for a long time. So as we've gone, we've replaced some of them, and we're going to replace the assistant superintendent this year at some point. And it's an important position.
It is a very important
Yeah.
position,
Yeah.
especially if we're going into a major project.
100%.
You got to have somebody there as well.
Yep.
Getting our rangers and marshals back, I think, is
Yep.
critical. That continues to come up in conversations because it's the daily care that the golfers are taking on that golf course that makes the biggest difference.
Absolutely.
If the golfers out there know that they should be trying to do 90 in, 90 out, staying off of the native areas, all these types of rules, you're building in that mentality that this is our course, we need to take care of it.
That's right. And we are in about another week we'll have a full staff of starters and rangers, and the plan is to have somebody out on our busiest afternoons every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then as we see how busy we are, we'll adjust that. But starting hopefully next week.
Great.
Yeah.
That's good news.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to go through here and just make sure we're addressing this. So we're hiring. I think it's important for the community to know this.
Yeah.
Whether it's in Parks and Recreation, for the golf course, police, fire, streets. The city is hiring just like everybody else is.
Right.
We need your help. And as a community, I know we can come together and get people into these positions and support this important infrastructure that we value so much.
Right. No, we love to get people that are passionate about Pinon Hills, and we have a lot of people that come to work for us because they like being there so much and they like the people they see every day. So, definitely, I would encourage anybody that's interested in learning about golf courses or either the operations or the maintenance side of it, come see us and see if there's something that fits for both of us.
Even volunteers. I know there's volunteers out there who've done different things out there. They've taken care of the flowers. They've come out on an afternoon and pick up trash. It's a beautiful place to be on a sunny afternoon, which there's going to be dozens of those now going into the summer.
Right.
One positive, Chris, and many positives. I just think it's important that we recognize kind of the youth programs that we have going that's going to facilitate and perpetuate the game of golf for years to come. I think First Tee has done an amazing job of their outreach throughout this entire San Juan County area.
Yep.
And then we also have the PGA Junior program.
Right.
But Luke Tanner, I think, for the city, he helps facilitate those, right?
Definitely. He does a great job. He runs the programs from start to finish. For example, most of them are already full for this year, and he begins signups, I believe, in March or April. So it's been very well received. He is a First Tee instructor, and so he does the First Tee program. He also does the PGA Junior League, which is a league of junior teams from area golf courses that go around and play matches against each other. Very cool. And then he also does some on his own instruction for groups and individuals and things like that. So he does a great job with our teaching programs.
No, it's great. And Tom Yost and Tina with First Tee and country clubs involved in that. Yep. And my son actually was a part of that PGA Junior last year because there was no baseball season. So it was great to go to courses in Southern Colorado and then play here as well.
Yep.
We have so much to offer when it comes to golf. Whether it's Pinon Hills, Civitan, Riverview, the country club. but then also the courses that exist in Durango and Cortez, and
Yep.
just a nice little area to utilize.
For sure.
the
Yeah,
youth program.
Yeah, for sure. The youth program, and we kind of build on each other's tournaments too. So we have a good relationship with all the golf courses in the county and in Durango, and we all try to work together to get those, get as much participation as we can.
Sure. Very good.
Yeah.
Chris, anything we're missing here today we want to make sure we talk about?
I don't think so. You know, we just wanted to come, like you said in the beginning, and talk to people and let them know that we're aware of our eyesores right now, and it's not fun to go play golf and see irrigation leaks everywhere, but we're trying our best, and the golf course will get there, and with awesome support from the city council and you and Mr. Mays, you know, we're excited about what's coming. It's going to be a lot of work in the next year, or year plus.
Sure.
But can't wait to see these projects really start moving, and I think people will see pretty quickly down the road that we can return it to where we all want it to be, for sure.
Absolutely. Well, in those conversations when they said we should be the replacement golf course for the PGA Championship, you know, we got together with all the stakeholders kind of in this area and talked what would it take for us to get there. And
Right.
I'd like to see us, you know, with some outreach after we finish this project,
For sure.
start reaching out for some of these smaller tournaments and start growing our,
Absolutely.
you know, that kind
Yeah.
of national tournament foundation that we need to in order to
Right.
move on up those ranks. But
Right.
I think it certainly would be exciting. I would be doing everybody a disservice if I didn't recognize our restaurant out there, the Grill on the Hill. If you're looking for a great breakfast burrito, a great green chili cheeseburger,
Yeah.
I mean, that is a great place to go. So we appreciate their partnership out there as well.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And
Yeah.
thank you for the work you're doing out there. And let's get some people hired.
Right.
Let's get our golf course pride
Right.
back up.
Yeah.
And that comes to you, the community, who's out there utilizing this incredible resource. Go out and play golf. Come out there and see the work that's being done and support local as much as you can. And just know that we recognize it's going to be a little bit under construction, renovation going on here for the next year or so, we're imagining. But once it's completed, I always like to think with the end in mind.
Me too.
We know if it's funded, we know what it's going to be when we get done with it, and certainly it's something that we will continue to be proud of. So, Chris, thanks for joining us
Thank
today.
you.
Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time with more information about things happening here in the city of Farmington, right here on the Mayor's Table.